Hello and welcome to Big Weekend here on the Football365 show, brought to you by Paddy Power. I'm your host Mark Smith. I'm here as ever with Editor-in-Chief of Football365.com, Sarah Winterburn. We've got a lot to talk about. It's a packed weekend and beyond, it turns out, as there's games on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. So let's get straight into it, really. If you enjoy the show, don't forget to like and subscribe. This is Big Weekend, brought to you by Paddy Power. Right, Sarah, we've got an incredibly busy fixture list in front of us here. I want to start with, I think, the biggest game of the weekend. It's Leicester City versus Manchester United. Leicester at home. They've been fantastic, as we've seen all season, away from home. Not quite as good at home, but United are, without a doubt, the best team away. So this looks on paper like it's a pretty straightforward United win, doesn't it?
You would do, and then you remember the lack of pace in that Man United back line, specifically Harry Maguire, who turns like an oil tanker. And then remember Jamie Vardy. Leicester are the best counter-attacking team in the country. Now, Man United want that title, but Leicester will just not have the ball on Saturday. They'll quite happily allow Man United to struggle to break them down, as they tend to do whenever anybody plays with any kind of low block. And Leicester could do some serious damage on the counter, couldn't they? They were excellent last weekend, weren't they, Leicester? Really good result. Didn't actually see that coming, because I thought that Spurs would try and out-defend them, and then they would almost cancel each other out. But actually, Leicester did to Tottenham what Tottenham wanted to do to everybody else. And Leicester could well do that to Man United this weekend. And I don't think there will be the pressure with Leicester playing at home against Man United to play like the home team. And it's bizarre, isn't it, that even without fans, there is sort of this odd pressure to feel, to play differently at home. Which seems to have retained even without the fans. But I think Leicester won't feel that pressure at the weekend. I think they'll quite happily sit back. And I think they will know what their biggest weapon is with this, is Jamie Vardy's pace against that Man United defence. Absolutely.
When I close my eyes and I think about this game, I can't think of anything other than Jamie Vardy celebrating. Maybe snapping another corner flag, I don't know, but I can see him scoring. But my bet this week, as part of my four-way Paddy Power accumulator, I'm going for over 3.5 goals. I can see there being goals here. Maybe a 2-2, maybe a 3-2, either way. I'm not sure, but it's a game I'm looking forward to. The early kickoff on Boxing Day. Should be a good one. Right, let's move on. I want to talk about Arsenal versus Chelsea. I don't know what to say about Arsenal. It's so tough to watch. Quite gleeful at times. It's
actually quite hard. I find it quite heartbreaking, actually. I always had a bit of a soft spot for Arsenal. Obviously, had a soft spot for Mikel Arteta, and what he did before this season looked so promising. Everybody bought into it. I mean, everybody has to sort of put their hands up and say we got this wrong.
We raved about it.
Everybody did. Though. It's like nobody's looking back and saying, "Oh, I knew this would go badly," because there was no sign of it at all. Those games against Man City and Chelsea, will keep going back to them in the FA Cup. It's a real nous to win those games. Real sort of coaching know-how. They weren't accidents. They were great performances which nullified the other team's strengths. So you kind of thought, oh well, Summer Business was okay, not brilliant, but okay. You're looking at Partey coming in and improving that midfield. You're looking at Gabriel coming in and improving that defence. You think they're going to be better again. Oh my God, they are absolutely awful.
It's
heartbreaking, and it's really confusing, and it sort of really messes with your senses. So it's very difficult to see anything other than Chelsea have struggled against top half teams, but Arsenal aren't a top half team. So in theory, really, Chelsea should walk this.
Yeah, in theory, yes. In theory, they should do. But Chelsea haven't been great either the last few weeks.
They haven't. They lost to Everton. They did just enough on Monday against West Ham, and if they can. Yeah. And realistically, Arsenal are not as good a team as West Ham at the moment. So maybe they'll do just enough again. I mean, I can't imagine them sort of blasting Arsenal out of the park. I don't think that's on. They're no Man City, they're no Liverpool, but
no.
I think a sort of. I just think 2 or 3-0 to Chelsea could well be on the cards.
Well, actually, I don't think that at all. I think Chelsea haven't been great. I think they lost to Everton. They lost against Wolves.
If you go Aubameyang to score, Mark.
No, I'm not doing that ever again. But they stopped the bleeding, didn't they, against West Ham? But actually, West Ham probably deserve something from that. I'm going to go for a draw in this one. I think there's a chance here for for Arsenal to.
I mean, you're a fool, but carry on.
Something. Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm going for a draw. Arsenal-Chelsea. 8-8. Now who's the fool? Right, let's talk about Fulham versus Southampton. Traditionally, Christmas is always a period where the teams down the bottom need to start pulling out some results. Normally the team bottom of the league at Christmas, which is Sheff Utd, normally they go down. Fulham, though, some signs of life, some
there's
green
life
shoots
in
of
the dog,
recovery,
isn't
3
there?
draws in a row.
There's
Absolutely.
definitely some life there. Certainly a lot more life than any of us saw 2 months ago. You know, Paddy Power paid on them being relegated, and it didn't look silly at the time. Now that could be a few quid, couldn't it? Because this Fulham side, they made some good loan signings, didn't they? I mean, you can argue all you want about whether you should be able to have a full team that's got half of them are loan signings. But Fulham have that lure. They're a London club. They could offer big wages, and they played their best card there. They played the Joker, didn't they? And they got a few players in that probably wouldn't any other team in the country, sort of in a similar position, wouldn't have got because of where they are and what they can pay. Southampton, though, obviously, Ralph Hasenhüttl, one of the best managers of 2020. We had him second in our list of top 10 managers this week. Done a wonderful job.
Huge fan.
Sort of stumbled last weekend, but through no real fault of his own. That was a tough game, and they didn't get beaten comprehensively by any stretch of the imagination. But you'd fancy them to go to Fulham and sort of knock them down to size, I would have thought.
Yeah, I think so.
You're going to say a draw, aren't you? Because you've lost your mind.
I'm actually not. No, I'm actually not. I think it's not part of my accumulator, but I do think Southampton will probably win this one. Fulham, though, I've got to say, Mitrovic has started a couple of the last games, but he's been off the bench quite a lot this season, and I think that actually does show some good strength and depth, because Mitrovic is a good striker. Like we've seen over the years, he's a good striker, both internationally and in the Premier League, certainly the Championship. So there's some strength and depth there. There are some goals there. Ings out for Southampton. We don't know how long for yet, but that could be a big loss. But it should be a good game anyway.
Yeah, they did okay without him before, though, didn't they? So I think Che Adams stepped
really
up, didn't he? I think.
Yeah.
I think it's more than one man, that Southampton side.
Yes, I agree. Let's move on from the weekend entirely, because games do go off into the week as well. It's sort of non-stop football now for a little while. I want to talk about Everton against Man City on Monday. So Everton will have played Sheff United over the weekend, straight back into it again against Man City. They're in great form. They're over this sort of blip they had, beat Arsenal, Leicester and Chelsea. I mean, yeah, they look great. I mean, they're going to have to rotate the players at some point, but as it stands, they look like a good side again, a really good side again.
I think they'll wait to rotate, won't they? We've got this sort of little run of fixtures over Christmas, but then there's the FA Cup, which a lot of those players won't play in, let's be honest. So there is an inbuilt break there, I think. So I think most teams will play most of their players over these 3 games, and I don't think we can expect many goals in this game. Man City have got a lot tighter. They're conceding the fewest amount of goals in the Premier League at the moment. They're not scoring many, but they're not conceding many. They've really tightened up and realised that's probably the path to getting back up into that top 4, is to really tighten up the back. Everton, Carlo Ancelotti has done the same there by playing basically 4 centre halves. It's it's old school Tony Pulis tactics. This, isn't it? Put 4 big men across the back 4, get your wingers back to help your full backs, and he's gone back to something approaching basics, and it really has worked. Getting Sigurdsson closer to Calvert-Lewin to try and spark him again. I don't think we're going to see many goals in this game, but Man City have kind of struggled with Everton over the years, so I wouldn't be massively surprised if this is a low-scoring draw. I think the 2 teams that have got flaws, but they've also got strengths, defensively. So you're now going to say you're backing over 4.8 goals or something, aren't you? Because you're a fool.
I was going to say, do you read my tips first and then just intentionally go against me? I've got both teams to score in this one as part of my accumulator. But I agree.
It's
I think
0-0 written all over it. But yeah, go on.
No, I think it's 1-0. Look, Man City have tightened up brilliantly. John Stones has been tremendous. We've given him a stick over the years, but he's been great. He's come in. He's literally stolen Laporte's centre-back role. He's been the best defender in the league last season, apart from Van Dijk. I just think that this is a big test for John Stones up against Calvert-Lewin, especially in the air. I think it's going to be, low-scoring draw, but certainly both teams to score. Right, final game I want to talk about. I mentioned it earlier. Christmas is the time where it's now or never for the clubs at the bottom. Sheff United away at Burnley. Burnley would have played Leeds before. Sheff United, I mean, I don't know what to say about Sheff United. They don't seem a team bothered about scoring goals. There's been some bright sparks. Against Manchester United, I thought Lys Mousset and Ryan Brewster linked up quite well. But Burnley are playing well again now. I don't know what to make of Sheff United. I don't know, A, if they're going to stay up, and B, if they're going to beat Derby County's record.
I think right now, I was talking to a Sheffield United fan the other day, I think right now what they're looking at is getting above that record and doing enough to keep Chris Wilder. Because if you get fewer points than that, it's going to look almost ridiculous to keep the manager.
Yeah, you can't keep him.
So I think what they need to do is get towards some element of respectability, past that point, past that famous derby point, and try and make it look like there is hope next season. I mean, that's the key, isn't it? If you go down badly and go down with a few amount of points and you have no momentum, then coming back up again is so difficult. You know, to pick yourself up in that summer, to even, you know, your team Derby have done it, my team Huddersfield have done it. You go down with really bad form. It's almost impossible to recover it straight away, because you know, where do you get that good feeling from? So somehow they have to get it together enough, if not to avoid relegation, which now seems so far away, but in order to create some kind of feel good, so that they go into next season looking like they might come up. And you know, if they keep most of those players, and you know, for all Sheff United's great form last season, you still look at that team and think there's not a lot of those players who are going to be picked up by other Premier League clubs. Because that success was about formation, it was about organisation, it was about Chris Wilder. Nobody's looking at that team and going, we'll pick up John Egan if they go down. It's not
there's
really
a couple of players.
It's not really that kind of team, is it? Sander Berge will go, and he'll probably go for the same kind of money. A couple of others might go to promoted sides or sides at the bottom, but there's no great star in there, so they will keep most of them together.
No, I think Ryan Brewster, my boy Brewster, I talk about him a lot. I think he's a wonderful finisher. Let's get him on the pitch. Get him. Oh, God damn it, Sheff United. Come on, put yourselves together. Anyway, in that game, I'm going to go for a Chris Wood goal anytime. Chris Wood anytime as part of my four-way. Paddy Power, accumulator. Right, Sarah, that wraps up the weekend and beyond. Thank you for joining me on the show. Thank you guys at home for watching. We'll be back same time next week, I guess.
I guess so. And in the meantime, Merry Christmas.
Of course. How can I forget? Where's your Christmas hat?
I've got the star. Yeah, what do you want?
Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I don't mind it. Right, until next time, you can get in touch with us at the editor at football365.com. Have a lovely Christmas. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.